Hello Jen, welcome to Melbourne.
Hey Ross, happy to be here.
And welcome to the show stage in person for the first time.
Very first time, very exciting.
First of all, Jen, I want to say congratulations for the 10th year celebration of your company, Open Minds. That was very recent, wasn't it?
Yes, that was just in September. Crazy journey for the last decade.
Yeah, tell me a bit about Open Minds, or tell us more about it. What made you start Open Minds 10 years ago in Malaysia? And what's the vision for the next 10 years?
So Open Minds has always been set up to be a consultancy-driven company focused in marketing technology. So what that means is that we really try to help brands and companies identify the gaps in their businesses and then solve them using technology. And we started this 10 years ago because we saw that there's kind of like a huge rift, a huge gap between the marketing teams and the tech teams. Both of these divisions typically don't talk to each other much. And in the traditional setup, some of them are even in different floors. Their opinions don't match. They have always different perspectives towards how to do things marketing, how to do things tech. And we thought that, hey, moving forward, this is going to be very, very important, as we rightfully see right now, 10 years later. But back then was something that we thought it would be good to introduce to the markets. And we did, right? Just that in the earlier days, it was a little bit more challenging because when Facebook was just starting to get in, people were trying to familiarize with what is social media, can you really make money of it? It's free, why are you charging me money? You know, things like that. So we stuck around quite a bit and we survived 10 years, yeah.
Amazing. I'm curious, Jen, so you started Open Minds 10 years ago. At that time, you were 25 years young.
Yes.
What, I guess, inspired you and your co-founders, because you have a few of you started together, right? What inspired you to start a company at the young age of 25 in Malaysia? Because I'm Malaysian, although I've been away for 2 decades now, but I didn't have the impression where Malaysia is very friendly towards young entrepreneurs.
In fact, you're 100% right on that one. Malaysia isn't really friendly towards entrepreneurs, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Today, far better. There are a lot of grants available. There are a lot of mentors, programs, startup accelerators, incubators, and things like that. But 10 years ago, or even more, because when I first started my first company, I was just 17.
Oh wow.
And at the age of 17, it was kind of still unheard of. People expect you to go through the usual Malaysian process, right? Graduate from high school, get to college, you get a corporate job later. And I kind of defied all of those. And it was tough. It was tough because there weren't any mentors. My parents were not very supportive through the journey as well. But what got me into it was initially really just a curiosity. I mean, many people have probably seen or read certain parts of this. But when I first started my first company, it was more of like just me wanting to be a little bit different on a CV perspective. So I wasn't starting a company to become Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. I was literally starting something so that I can place in my CV next time that, hey, I've started a company before, or I've attempted on a business before. But as I went into it, I kind of got sucked into the whole process and I started enjoying the process of building a company, solving problems. I didn't like the hiring and managing people part though. But anything outside of that, I really love seeing how the company grow, how I deal with failures, speaking with people. And then just one thing led to another. Open Minds came many years after that. After me selling off the first company, going to 6 to 7 others before Open Minds came in at 25, yeah.
Wow. So can you share with us perhaps 1 or 2 key moments or the highlights of Open Minds in the last 10 years?
Sure, I think one of the main things that always struck me as a highlight, which is amazing because in Melbourne, we just a couple of days ago met with our very first employee. They've been with us for the first 5 years before he decided to move to Melbourne and start his life here, so it's very interesting. But we were very appreciative of that moment that he decided to join us because at that time we were literally just 4 guys, which is my co-founders, sitting in a very small room, much smaller than this, maybe as just at the size of this table set right in front of us. And that's it, right? And we were just so worried that some person would come in and say, it doesn't look legit, I don't want to join this company. But he did. He did. And that was a significant step for us because that shows that, hey, something is working. People believe in our work, they will want to come on board full time, and that's where the team actually grew. But I think the second significant moment actually came when we were celebrating, I think it was our 4th year anniversary. that was when our team actually hit 30 people for the very first time. And that particular moment was particularly significant because it was kind of like a proof of concept. Most people say that startups only last 3 or 4 years. 90% of startups fail within the first few years and things like that. And we survived those crucial years. We were growing and we were bootstrapping, right? So we have not raised funds. Even until today, we have yet to raise funds. So that showed that we were able to build a sustainable business. Clients were trusting us. At that time, we were also expanding to Kazakhstan. For out of all the countries. That was our first subsidiary office actually.
Really?
And that was Kazakhstan. So really amazing stuff happening during those times. So it was definitely one of the highlights.
Amazing. And now you have presence in different countries. Is it Hong Kong?
Hong Kong and Singapore, yes.
Yeah. Is Australia in your list?
Well, that will depend on you guys, Ross, maybe,
Yeah. What is the key thing that most people ask? Because we work in marketing, but such different aspect of marketing that when you pair hand in hand together, we can really serve clients really well. So I'm more on the creative side, content side of marketing, whereas marketing tech, what would be the easiest way to explain MarTech?
So as you rightly said, right, so marketing has many spectrums to it. Some even take into consideration not just content, but even influencer management. Some look into maybe email list building, lead generation and things like that. But like it or not, all these different segments of marketing do rely on technology. And it's simple to the extent where people can just subscribe to some of these free tools out there, like in content. I'm sure many people are very familiar with Canva. In list building, you've probably heard about companies like MailChimp or GetResponse or Salesforce and things like that. But if you can imagine with me, as you grow the business, integration becomes an important aspect of the business.
Yes.
You would want certain processes to be more streamlined. For example, when you run a campaign, you collect certain customer information. What do you do with it? Do you store it in an Excel file? Can you set up some automated program that you can follow up, you can remind certain ways to get even deeper customer insights? And this is where a lot of these tools out there are limited by. So we then come in to design a scalable version, linking all these different, we call them touch points, so that you as the business owner or you as the CMO or whatever will be able to focus on the business rather than scratching your heads of, can I download this file? Can I, do I need to switch between programs? Do I need to remember 10 different logins to 10 different analytics tools that's available out there? We try to simplify all that so that you can focus on making the business decisions.
Yeah, I find that because in my short school and through some of the other engagement I have with my audience, we often talk about not just for the bigger companies looking for CEOs, which mostly agencies like us, we serve these bigger companies, but also for a lot of entrepreneurs, startup. I believe that if people learned about automations, marketing automation, you can be a one-man band and do wonderful business look like you have a team. Just because you know how to tap into these integrations and how to make things flow together, you could really run a successful business like you have a few employees behind the scene.
No, that's very true. I mean, just imagine the simple things like ad buying, and then when the people starts interacting with it or starts filling up your subscription form, what happens to that information? Are you still sending out emails manually? Are you keeping track of your customers' birthdays manually? How are you keeping track of them? How are you nurturing this into becoming repeated customers? You have a loyalty program, that's great, right? But what are you doing with the data being collected at the back end? Can you do something more? And all this interesting aspect of what a business can actually look into, particularly if you even have an offline presence, how can you bring this online information into your offline business is also a very interesting aspect to explore.
That's right. Now I'm going to bring the conversation to a little bit more personal now.
Okay.
Not exactly personal, but I'm intrigued by your personal achievement when you were listed as a Asia Forbes 30 under 30, was it right? That was what, 5 years ago?
That was about 5 years ago,
5 years ago. How did that happen?
Well, no more 30 under 30 right now.
You're gonna go 40 under 40.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a privilege. To be honest, until today, it's still quite a mystery, because what I know is that the team at Forbes are very particular in selecting individuals across Asia, because I was on an Asia list. And the funny story goes whereby I received this email one day by one of the Forbes Council people, so her name was Rana. And when I saw the email, I actually thought it was spam. And I almost deleted that email. It's like, Forbes, Rana. It just sounds like spam, doesn't sound right. I should not engage in these activities, right? But I thought, okay, let's just try it out, right? No harm, just one reply and see what happens. And whoa, it was legit. Right, so she sent the interview team. I went through the entire process. They really wanted to figure out my story. What do I do? To the extent where they even required me to take pictures of my breakfast for 3 consecutive days. That was the most stressful 3 days of my life because I needed to read. Are they trying to scrutinize my eating? Should I eat something healthy? Should I have avocado and toast every day? Should I don't know, so I was just having all these thoughts, but I sent them anyway. But well, they've done their due diligence.
Yeah.
And if few months later, because they went quiet for a bit, so I thought, oh, okay, maybe that was it. And I remember at that point of time, I think it was in Hong Kong, and then I started waking up to a whole bunch of texts. My Facebook was blowing up, my Instagram was blowing up, my WhatsApp was blowing up, and apparently I made the list. I was plastered all over the local news, and everybody was sending congratulations and snapshots and all that. It was quite an exciting moment to be in. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hopefully you get an email again soon.
That would be great. Yeah.
Incredible. Now, I'm curious, what's a typical day, Jan Wong's day in life looks like?
Well, the routine kind of got broken while I came to Melbourne.
Pre-Melbourne.
Yeah, Ross is a very good host. But pre-Melbourne, my day typically starts at about between 5 to 6 a.m. So I do not set an alarm. I just allow the body to just wake up whatever time. And I'll use the first hour or so as what I call the creative moment. So that's the time I usually take to brainstorm for ideas, figure things out regarding my business. When I was writing my book, that was the time I used to write my book as well. So I'll do all this in the first 1 hour or so because I believe that is the best time to jump to creative activities.
Yeah.
Right after that, about 7, that's where I usually head to the gym or I go for a short run, about an hour or so, half an hour to an hour, before I come back, have a breakfast, shower, and then my work starts. That's where I will start looking at my phone, checking my devices, going on my emails, because I realize if I do any of this before,
that's the time in the morning's gone.
it's gone. It's totally gone. All I need to do is put up Instagram and I'll be there for hours, right? So I don't want that. I only allow that to happen at about 9, 10-ish. Yeah, then after that, it's pretty much the entire day, whether it's with team meetings, with clients, that's all the actual work is done. And then, and then in the evenings, that's usually up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I know your life quite a bit because you're one of those, my favorite Instagram friends that post a lot about your work. I like the behind the scene, like knowing what it is like to be running an agency like yours, and it's hard work. But to be able to share that through your stories, the real life of someone who's really hustling and what does it look like, how many presentations you get to make in a day, how many pictures you get to make in a day. And it's the real hustle of someone, even though 10 years in business, still hustling hard. And I think that's very humbling to see and to get to know. One interesting point for our viewer is up until this point, Jan's been in Melbourne with me for 5 days now. And prior to this, we've never met in person, right?
Yes.
We've connected on Instagram by chance. I don't remember how.
I don't remember as well.
Yeah, but we connected and was like, oh, someone talking about marketing. I like that. And he's Malaysian. And the way that you talk about marketing is really what I believe marketing should be known for, rather than all the glorious, sugarcoating kind of marketing. So I really like it and we started to chat. So my key question is, what made you trust? What made you trust to hop on a plane and get picked up by someone that you actually haven't met in real life?
Wow. No, but I really think it's because of how we have really connected in the past. I think through the various Instagram DMs, although we have not met physically before, we have collaborated with Startup School, we have done a few things together, I've seen your content as well, and I think that's one of the beauty of social media as well. Even though you have not seen that person, but that relationship could be built digitally. And if you think about it, that's what marketing kind of is about as well. You try to build relationship with your followers, with your potential customers out there to create that sense of familiarity, right? To build that trust. And I have to say, it's also thanks to your content that you've always shared genuinely as well, right? You've opened up your life, and that, because it felt that I knew you all this while. You know, it's not like when we first met, it's like, a bit awkward, who is this person? But we kind of knew each other, we knew our stories and all that. It's pretty interesting. But I think what gave me added confidence, it's also because at one time of my career, I actually started a company with a guy that I've not met before as well. So I kind of also bump in this guy on Twitter on a common hashtag.
Yeah.
We started just Twitter DMing. And it's even worse, we have not actually even have a video call. We had video calls.
Yes,
right? We have, so I don't know how he looked like.
And you started a company with
We
him?
started a company together.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's based in Perth, Australia. We just sent the legal documents, signed it, and we were in business for 2 years, again, without video call, without even a phone call. We did everything
Crazy.
through email and Twitter DMs. And we built a company that lasted about 2 years before we decided to shut it down.
Yeah, that would be some time ago when you don't have video calls.
That would be some time ago, yes. I
Yeah.
don't know why we did it, but that was pretty crazy.
I don't know what it is because there's nothing to lose, so why not? Let's just give it a go and try. But yeah, to the point you said about social media, that's something that I really love, and I hope with our story of friendship here can inspire or encourage more people to open up, be authentic on social media, and you will find that you will build a community and build lasting friendship, and you can do a lot of collaborations, not just with the network that you are in right now, wherever you are in the world, but also internationally. I mean, social media, you have access to the world. The platform provides the access, but it's up to you, each of us, to take action. And I think being authentic allows that trust to be built.
Yep. And that's what show up is all about, right?
Yes.
It's all about really showing up on social media, being authentic. I know there is this pressure sometimes to always look good, try to post a certain lifestyles to attract people, but I think that genuine conversations, that genuine sharing of thoughts and ideas really are able to attract that like-minded community. But again, it all starts with showing up, which means maybe it's time to turn your profiles to public instead of private, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't build that community if you're all private and you're just sharing with a bunch of friends. Yeah,
That's right. So talking about authenticity, lifestyle and all that, you've been here 5 days and you kind of step into my lifestyle here. What are the key highlights for you in this 5 days Melbourne trip?
Well, number one, she's incredibly hardworking. Every morning, she's up from the laptop and she's incredibly dedicated, not just in the work, but also to bring me around, really experience how Melbourne culture is like, seen very interesting places, had interesting experiences from the first, upon touching down into this pho restaurant. That's going to stay with me for the rest of my life, I think. But I really enjoy the conversations that we have, to see the real hustle behind the scenes as well. It's very real to also hear your story physically, right? On how you built a team and what you went through, the decisions that you've made. That's incredible and not easy for sure. Coming from one that also built the team, definitely not easy and very inspiring.
So Melbourne, I intentionally built an itinerary so that you can experience Melbourne like a local instead of doing the very touristy thing. So you've been to an immersive art exhibition, Mona and Friends, and you went to Phantom.
Yeah,
so you went to a
Phantom.
musical.
Yes.
How was that whole experience?
I think that's a very different experience from where I come from. It's not like we're never exposed to arts or musicals and things like that. We do, but I think it's on a whole new different level coming to Melbourne, seeing how this is being emphasized and being part. I wouldn't even say it's part of culture, it's part of like daily life. You see people hanging out at the art exhibition, taking a nap at the art exhibition, right? And like, okay, that's interesting. Then people just going for musicals, and there's so many theaters in the country. I find that fascinating, and it also shows how important that balance is to some extent, because I know many are really hustling really hard at their offices, at their responsibilities, but as you see them on the streets, as you see them going about, and you're like, there's just something about this city which I find it very nice. Yeah.
So what would you take away from this trip?
I took away that the weather can be very unpredictable in Melbourne as we speak, right? The sun
raining.
came up and it became cloudy, and then it's raining, and I don't know what's going to be next. But I think one of the main highlights is really, again, how this virtual friendship would actually manifest to something even more. Maybe we work together even closer in the future, businesses together, I do not know. But it's a testament to really what digital can do in today's times.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you for having this quick chat. I mean, not that quick, we've been going for a while, but it's really, really special to have you over and spend 5 days. Hopefully soon you will come again, and maybe 5 weeks, I don't know, bring your laptop and just kind of camp here.
Yeah, maybe that would be amazing actually.
Cool. Any last thing that you want to say?
Well, once again, thank you for having me. It's a huge pleasure, and really, really nice for you to actually host me throughout these 5 days. And I really look forward to more collaborations. I hope that we are able to really change how digital is being perceived even within this region. Because there's so many exciting opportunities, so much that you can do. Even as a small business owner, remember that digital is not just for big companies or corporates, but even for one-man show, one-woman show. You will be amazed at how much you can do with just the right processes, right systems, and the right mindset for you.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you, Mr. Jan Wong.
Pleasure.
So we'll see you next time on Show Up Stage or Show Up School.
Yes.
Alrighty.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.